With their backs to the wall, Manchester City came out fighting, but Liverpool duo Mohamed Salah and Roberto Firmino killed off chances of a fight back as the Reds edged the Sky Blues 2-1, 5-1 aggregate, to knock Pep Guardiola's fancied side out of the UEFA Champions League on Tuesday night. After their 3-0 humbling at Anfield, City were always up against it, but Gabriel Jesus' early opener had given the citizens hope that a remarkable comeback was on the cards. The hosts did dominate the first half but failed to convert the plethora of chances that fell their way, and with Liverpool possessing the superlative talents of Salah and Firmino, there was always the chance that Jurgen Klopp's men would land a killer blow on the counter. That's exactly what they did in the second half, to eventually put the tie beyond reach, continuing the club's rich tradition in continental competition in dominating fashion as they did a European double over the previously dominant Sky Blues. Here are the Statesman's player ratings from an eventual tie at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City. Ederson, normally redoubtable. This was a poor showing from the Brazilian custodian. At fault for the first goal, on which he should have done more, and perhaps for the second as well, considering he conceded from a tight angle. Rating, 5/10. Kyle Walker. Some of his runs down the right flank, which were limited considering he was playing in a back three, were absolute rubbish. Just because you have a lot of pace doesn't mean you just knock the ball down the line each time you get the ball. Crosses were poor and his slip did end up proving crucial in the build-up to Firmino's goal. Rating, 4/10. Nicolas Otamendi. Just when the Argentine seemed to have proven his naysayers wrong, he takes a giant step back. Can't seem to figure him out. 1 week he's outstanding, the other he's just comical. Rating, 4/10. Aymeric Laporte. After getting mauled by Salah in the first leg, albeit only for 50 minutes as the Egyptian got injured, this was a far more assured performance from the Spaniard. Despite his hefty price tag, it's easy to forget that he's pretty young. Definitely more suited to a centre-back role than the full-back one he's been playing in recently. Rating, 6/10. Fernandinho. It may be unfair to knock someone when they're low, but of late it seems Fernandinho's been showing his age. He's still got plenty of football left in him, but perhaps the high tempo of Pep's system is taking its toll on the Brazilian, who was solid in the first half, but faded in the second. Rating, 5/10. David Silva. Not a vintage El Mago performance, though it wasn't for lack of trying. Rating, 6/10. Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne's alarming drop in form will worry the City faithful to no end. For the second continental fixture in the row, the Belgian just couldn't complete the key passes he normally does. Excellent covering, but he's a creative midfielder, first and foremost. Rating, 5/10. Bernardo Silva. The brightest City player on the pitch, especially in the first half. Unlucky not to have scored at least one. Hooked towards the end of the second period, as City sought to throw the kitchen sink at them. Rating, 7/10. Leroy Sane had the beating of Trent Alexander-Arnold this time and was unlucky not to have scored, but how many times was the German caught offside? Too many to count, and on the whole, his final product was lacking. Rating, 5/10. Gabriel Jesus. After his well-taken opener, couldn't quite influence the game as he would have wanted. Don't miss 5 talking points from Manchester City vs Liverpool. Perhaps rusty after an injury layoff, but at times like these one wonders if Sergio Aguero would have had a bigger impact. Rating, 6/10. Raheem Sterling. Much improved display than the one he gave in the Manchester Derby, although that isn't saying much. Should have been awarded a penalty, but other than that, did little else of note. Rating, 5/10. Substitute Sergio Aguero brought on with little less than 30 minutes to go, but was unable to affect the game as he would have wanted. Rating, 6/10. Ilkay Gundogan didn't get the ball enough, and while he did score, it was correctly ruled out due to Leroy Sane being offside. Rating, 5/10. Liverpool. Lloris Karius dealt with the long-range shots with ease, but perhaps could have done better when punching the ball in the build-up to the Leroy Sane disallowed goal. Rating, 6/10. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Sane had the beating of him this time and was flirting with disaster after picking up a yellow in the first half. Rating, 5/10. Virgil van Dijk. Apart from that catastrophic opening, did fine. More games the Dutchman plays, the more he looks like at ease in the Reds' defense. Rating, 6/10. Dejan Lovren. Pretty solid overall. Made some key stops, blocks to deny City from potentially extending their lead. Rating, 7/10. Andy Robertson. Decent outing, save for the penalty he almost gave away. Shackled Sterling fairly well apart from that. Rating, 6/10. James Milner. Doesn't look like he has the legs anymore but managed to put in a decent shift. Rating, 6/10. Georginio Wijnaldum. The Dutchman was chasing shadows, not just his fault though, as Liverpool were outmatched in midfield overall. Rating 6/10. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. After his first leg heroics, more was expected from the talented Englishman. Sadly, he was anonymous for the most game. Rating 5/10. Sadio Mane ran everywhere, tried to do everything, and while he did play his part in Salah's goal, it wasn't the best day at the office for the Senegalese. Rating 6/10. Roberto Firmino. If it was difficult to see why Klopp favored him over Daniel Sturridge earlier, it's crystal clear now. Tireless performance, got cautioned, disrupted City's counters more often than not and managed to score a well-taken goal. What more could you want from a modern-day centre-forward? Rating 7/10. Mohamed Salah. Probably because he was encumbered by injury, the Egyptian couldn't bring his A-game but still managed to score a decisive goal. That speaks volumes about his quality. Rating 7/10. Substitutes Ragnar Klavan brought on for Firmino as Klopp sought to bring in some defensive solidity in the closing stages. Rating N.A. Nathaniel Klein. Klopp wasn't taking any chances with Alexander-Arnold on a yellow and sent on Klein alongside Klavan towards the end. Rating N.A. Danny Ings replaced Salah as Klopp sought to run down the clock. Rating N.A.